Good evening, happy Friday, and welcome to today's video. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the weird circumstances and theories surrounding the Jameson family disappearance. So the Jameson family consisted of Bobby, the father, Cheryl Lynn, the mother, and Madison, the daughter. The family lived in Oklahoma, and they seemed to live a pretty normal life until they disappeared. Once they disappeared, I think the oddities and the weird quirks of the family started to come to the surface, because people were digging around to try and find what happened to them. But all right, let's get into it. So on October 8th of 2009, the entire family was reported as missing. I guess after friends and family tried calling and were unable to reach the family, they suspected something was kind of weird, and they eventually filed a missing persons report. It was said that in their last moments, the family, they were traveling to go look at a plot of land that they were looking to purchase. It's said that the family was kind of going through a rough time, and they were looking at this as kind of like their fresh start. Unfortunately, it wouldn't be the fresh start that the family was looking for. A few days after they were reported missing, authorities did find the truck that belonged to the family, but they didn't find the family with the truck. There were some weird things inside of the truck though. One, the family's dog was still in the truck. It was starving, it was thirsty, it was almost dead, but if anybody is an animal lover, rest assured that the dog did survive. I believe the dog now lives with Cheryl Lynn's mother, so the dog's okay. Along with the dog, inside the truck, they found all the cell phones, the GPS was inside the truck, and they also found $32,000 underneath the driver's seat, which is a lot of money. I mean, where are you going with all that money? The authorities brought out search dogs, cadaver dogs, they had search parties. They searched the entire area and they were unable to find any traces of the family. Now, it wasn't until October of 2013, 4 years after the family went missing, that their bodies were found. Two hunters or hikers were out in the woods when they came across the remains of the family. A strange thing about the way they were found, all the family members, all three of them, were found face down, laying side by side, as if somebody had placed them there or arranged them there specifically. They had an autopsy done, but because of the decomposition of the body, it was just really skeletons that were left. They weren't able to really come up with a definitive cause of death, so the deaths were ruled unknown. Now this is where the meat of it is the weird theories surrounding what happened to this family. So the first theory is that it was a murder-suicide. According to some of the reports that I read, Cheryl Lynn, the mother, did suffer from depression, and she also suffered from bipolar disorder. She also kept diaries at home that I believe were a little bit darker, as you may expect from somebody suffering from depression. But another thing that was kind of weird is that they found an 11-page hate letter from Cheryl Lynn to her husband. And in the letter, it just went on to say how much she hated being married to him, how she wanted a divorce, how she thought their life together was horrible, just all these things going on for 11 pages stating how she hated being married to her husband. So this is kind of why they thought it was a murder-suicide. They thought due to her depression and bipolar disorder, along with the 11-page note that they found, that she killed her husband and daughter and then killed herself. Which, I mean, it could have happened, but the weird thing about it is all the bodies were found laying side by side, face down. I mean, I don't know, it just doesn't make sense to me. I don't think, if she were doing a murder-suicide, I don't think she would take the time to arrange the bodies specifically. So that theory for me, I don't think that one. Another theory was that it was drugs, specifically crystal meth. I guess within that area they had a crystal meth problem. And one of the weird things that they found was there was a surveillance camera on the Jamison's house. And the day that they were leaving, they were packing up items from the house, but it was weird the way they were doing it. They took about 20 trips back and forth from the house, reloading the same objects back and forth. So they would bring boxes to the car, and then they would bring the same boxes back into the house, and then they'd go bring them back to the car. And the whole time that they were doing this, they kind of just moved past each other, never really interacting, never talking to each other, almost like they were in some sort of trance. So it was really weird what they caught on the surveillance camera. So that's one of the theories, that it was drugs, specifically crystal meth. Again, it doesn't make sense to me with the way that the bodies were positioned. I don't know. There's another theory, and I don't know too much about it. It's called the 35-degree latitude line or theory. Somebody let me know if you've ever heard of this before. This is my first time that I've ever heard of it, but I guess the 35-degree, why is it so hard for me to say that? The 35-degree latitude line is called the, let me look. It's called the line of tragedy. And I guess it's because on this 35-degree line, or very close to it, a lot of tragedies have happened around the world. I don't know, and I guess the truck was found on that 35-degree latitude line. So I don't know, I guess it's supposed to be like this weird paranormal phenomenon that surrounds this. I don't know. That's another theory if you want to look into it. Another theory is that it had something to do with Bobby's dad. I guess there was a family feud involving money and a lawsuit, and they didn't have a real good relationship after that with Bobby's father. I guess Bobby's father was kind of linked to the Mexican mafia also. So there's kind of a theory that Bobby's dad killed them or had them killed, you know, like the Mexican mafia did it or something. But the dad at the time does have an alibi because he was really sick and in the hospital, so there's no way that he himself could have committed the murders, but he could have had the mafia like take him out. I don't know. So the last theory is kind of my favorite theory because it's the most far out there theory, and it's that it had something to do with the paranormal and witchcraft and occult. So I guess the family had gone to their church saying that there was a haunting or a spirit or a ghost in their home that was trying to harm them. So they went to their church asking if there was some way that they could get rid of this. They were kind of doing research. Now, Bobby specifically asked if there was a special kind of bullet that he could use, which, I mean, Bobby is a ghost. You can't shoot it. Then there's the mom. She has claimed to more than one person that she was a witch and she belonged to a coven or a cult. There was a random phone call that came in after this started getting some media attention, and the person that called said that Sherilyn was in the United White Knights cult and that they vowed to kill her. So I mean, it's weird that somebody would call and say that, and I don't know, like, maybe that's why they looked like they were in this trance when they were packing up the items. Maybe it had something to do with the paranormal. It's probably highly unlikely that it had anything to do with the paranormal or witches or cults, but it's my favorite because it's the most far out there. So what do you think happened to the family? Why do you think they were murdered, or do you think it was a murder-suicide? Do you think it has something to do with the paranormal or witches or a cult? I'd love to hear what you think about this. Like I said, my favorite theory is that it was something paranormal or had to do with cults or a witch or something like that, just because it's the most far out there. And I don't know, the way that the bodies were found, all of them side by side, face down, to me that seems like they were placed in a specific way, or like it was a ritual. So that's kind of why I feel like it was almost kind of like a cult activity, because of the ritualistic way that they were positioned after they had died. But to this day, it's, like I said, it's still a mystery. Nobody knows what happened to the family. Nobody probably will ever know what happened to the family, unfortunately. It's unfortunate that all of them had to end up like they did, especially when they were looking for a fresh start. It's just very sad. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up because it really does help me out. If you're new, you should subscribe. I do paranormal videos on Wednesday and Friday, and then I do a vlog on Sunday. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.